Thank you, Doug, and thank you very much, all of you, for joining us in today's press conference, which really is to present Stephen ELOP, whose Nokia board has appointed to be our next president and CEO. Let me reflect on a couple of aspects from the point of view of the Nokia board of directors. First on the process. In the last we started a CEO search process. It has been an extensive process with the whole board involved actively. We have had no preconceived views on the often raised big question that people have in their mind: is it an external or an internal person we might be looking at, or the board, generally speaking, is looking at any particular search process. We wanted to ask ourselves, and we certainly did, who would be the best person to lead Nokia and enable the renewal to be accelerated. In the last months, the last 1 month, after we had looked at several internal candidates as well as several external candidates, we narrowed in on Stephen ELOP, and after a number of discussions concluded a contract with him. The board felt that now is the right time to accelerate the company renewal, to bring in some new executive leadership with slightly different skills and strengths in order to drive the company success. We believe that Stephen has the right industry experience and the leadership skills to realize what is the full potential of this great company that we love. It's particularly Steve's strong software background and his proven track record in change management that will be the most valuable assets, in my view, when we press harder in terms of completing the transformation. I will want to make one particular observation, and that is that from Steve's background and what is evident from many discussions the board and myself have had, it is clear that he does have a very strong cultural sensitivity and a grasp of the importance of Nokia's somewhat special heritage, where there is a lot of Finnishness about it. These are quite some important attributes in making his tenure a success. And Doug, if you allow, I'd like to ask Stephen to make some introductory comments.
Well, thank you for joining us here this afternoon. It's definitely my pleasure to be here today. I'd like to start by thanking Jorma and the entire Nokia Board of Directors for the confidence and trust that they've shown in me by appointing me to the role of CEO of Nokia. It's indeed a great honor for me. To begin my prepared remarks, I thought it would be helpful to provide just a little bit of context in the industry, or about the industry, in which we're operating. It is the case in the technology world that there are critical moments where fundamental change takes place. For example, when the graphical user interface was first introduced for the personal computer, that was a moment of big change. Similarly, when cellular telephones first became popular, it was another moment of dramatic change in how we all communicate. And of course, the advent of the browser-based internet was something that affected all of us and how we live our daily lives. All of these are examples of significant fundamental change. Today, right now, today, we are going through a similar moment of fundamental change. If you think about the explosion in the use of all forms of mobile devices, including smartphones and tablets and everything else, if you think about the advent of the cloud-based computing strategies and the delivery of services from the internet, or if you consider how all of us and our children are now communicating using all forms of social media, if you put all of those pieces together, you quickly recognize that these elements are conspiring to create a moment of fundamental disruption. And we are in that moment of disruption today in our industry, throughout the computing industry. Now, when those moments of change arise, when that begins to happen, tremendous opportunity is created as well as tremendous challenges. Both of those things come. So, for example, on the challenges side, there's no doubt that whenever there's a big moment of change, you see all sorts of other companies, entrepreneurs, competitors rushing to the scene and offering new approaches to hardware, new operating systems, new application platforms, new services, even new ways of making money. All of those things begin to happen. That's what happens when there's change. But of course, for Nokia, this moment of change represents a tremendous opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for Nokia. And of course, the reason for that is that Nokia can take advantage of its many unique strengths and assets and apply those to these opportunities that exist during this time of change. Those strengths include the incredible caliber of the people here at Nokia in Finland and all around the world. It includes the quality of our products and our engineering prowess. It includes the strength of our partners, our suppliers, our entire distribution and logistics networks. And it also includes our developing strengths in software development and the delivery of services. All of these things can be brought to bear. And if we take advantage of all of those assets while also listening very carefully to the ultimate consumers of our products, because things are changing so quickly that we have to listen and respond and react and deliver solutions that make sense for them today. That is Nokia's opportunity to do all of that. Now, my role as the leader of Nokia is to lead this team through this period of change, take the organization through a period of disruption. My job is to create an environment where those opportunities are properly captured, to ultimately ensure that we are meeting the needs of our customers while delivering superior financial results. That is my role. Immediately ahead, I will start my employment at Nokia on Tuesday, September 21st, and what I will immediately begin to do, most importantly, is to listen. I will be doing a great deal of listening, learning, and adjusting based on what I hear from all of our stakeholders, customers, employees, partners, the entire ecosystem that makes up the broad Nokia family. From that work, our team will introduce the changes that are necessary to ensure that Nokia can take advantage of all of the opportunities that are here to deliver great results during these times of change, while also recognizing that a core element of our strategy, that mission of connecting people, will continue as a critical element of our strategy. That is what this company has represented for many years, and it will continue to represent that even as our customers evolve the way in which they want to connect in new and innovative ways. I also recognize, as Jorma mentioned, that I have a unique responsibility, and that unique responsibility represents the critical relationship that exists between Nokia and the society of Finland and this environment. I recognize that a great deal. So in the weeks and months ahead, I have a great deal to learn about Nokia, but I also have a great deal to learn about Finland. and that has already begun, as I'm very proud to say. The one thing I will say is that that process has been greatly supported by my heritage. As you may know, I'm a Canadian citizen. You may also know that Canada and Finland share the Arctic Circle, and that's something that holds me in good stead as I move forward. Now, just a bit more about myself. I'm sure you may have seen my bio and history and so forth, but just a few other comments. I've had many opportunities in my career already to interact successfully with Nokia. When I was the leader of Macromedia, we entered into a strategic relationship between Macromedia and Nokia in order to deliver the flash player capabilities on a wide range of Nokia devices. As well, most recently, while I was a president at Microsoft, we entered into a very strategic partnership to deliver Microsoft capabilities on Symbian phones, demonstrating the strategic significance of the Symbian platform, both as viewed by Nokia and by Microsoft as well. So I've had a great deal of experience being successful in working with the Nokia community. I will also say that I'll be establishing a residence here in Helsinki in the very near future, and so I look forward to working with you and meeting with you on a very frequent occasion. And finally, I will say this on a very personal basis. Just a few weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago now, I was in Vancouver, British Columbia at the Winter Olympics. I was in the arena when the flags were raised over the women's hockey teams. And of course, the Canadian women's team was in the gold position. Finland was in the bronze position, which is still an amazing accomplishment for Finland. And yet I know in 4 years, when I am at the next Winter Olympics, my loyalties will be somewhat divided between Canada and Finland as they face off in the next gold medal games. So thank you. Those are my prepared remarks, and I believe at this point we'll be opening it up for questions.
Cool. Thank you, Stephen. Jorma, if I could ask you to join just behind the podium. We'll host a brief Q&A. I would ask you to present your hand. I'll be taking names or numbers from the audience. If you could introduce yourself and the media outlet that you represent, and if you could also limit yourself to a single question. We'll begin by starting with microphone number 4.
Armo Virki, Reuters. Jorma, 2006, when you stepped down from the chief executive position, you kind of hinted that a few years as a chairman is probably fine. What's your current plans?
Yeah, the board asked me to stay as chairman for a transitionary period. And I sort of said that 5 years sounds like a lot, and 2 years is reasonably short. So we had quite a discussion earlier this year because the time was up. But the board did want me to continue because this is a particularly difficult time. So. My time will be up soonest, so I've been agreeing to stay over to help Stephen with the transition, and the board has very much wanted me to do exactly that. So no time set, but to help make sure that everything goes well with the transition.
Microphone number 2, please.
Ola Björner from TV4 Sweden. Mr. Ollila, what are the main mistakes made during Mr. Kallasvuo's time as president in Nokia, you think?
Well, it's not time to look back. We're looking forward, and if you look at the last 4 years or so, there have been successes. There has been a strategy which the board has underwritten, has supported, but obviously some of the implementation of the strategy, as I said in the AGM earlier this year, we are not quite happy with. It's not about mistakes. It's wanting now to move on to have towards the next phase with the newly appointed CEO.
Could you give some examples of what new steps will be taken?
So let me say, first of all, it's way too early to make any specific comments about changes ahead and so forth. The one thing I will say, though, is that the process through which I will go, one of deep listening within this organization, recognizes that I know and I believe that the clear challenges that the company faces are well understood within the four walls of Nokia worldwide. The answers to those challenges are also well understood. My role is to surface those, to make sure that we're dealing with them efficiently, that we're making crisp decisions and moving the organization forward aggressively. So the answers, they're here. We need to execute on them. The other thing I'll say is that throughout any of these decisions and changes that we may make in the future, we will clearly optimize for long-term profitable growth of Nokia. This is a growth strategy for the company, while also ensuring that we deliver great experiences for our consumers, our employees, and ultimately our shareholders as well.
Thank you, Stephen. If you have a question, could you raise your hand high so the women with the microphones could spot you? Microphone number 4, please.
Pekka Pantsu from Ilta-Sanomat. I would like to ask Jorma Ollila, how hard was it for you personally to change old friend to new man on the top?
Yeah, these are one of those things which are not easy. I had worked with Olli-Pekka for some 25 years or so, so we were working partners over a long period of time. So it was not easy. It's however something where the strong corporate culture and the way Nokia typically handles this kind of things, and what we have been able to develop as a working style in the last 20 years. In the last couple of months, when we have had some discussions on this with Olli-Pekka, we have been actually conversing just about every second day. I can't say every day. That's a bit much because I've been traveling and all that. But just about every second day, and that's been open, transparent, no slamming of doors. It has been professionally handled on behalf of Olli-Pekka, which is particularly appreciated from my point of view and from the board's point of view. So it just tells something about the commitment and the loyalty to the company and how we want to work this kind of things, the way we've been able to handle this. So it's been not a bad experience in that respect, but quite a good experience which you need to learn in life.
Microphone number 2, please.
My name is Carl Gustav Linden from the newspaper Hufvudstadsbladet. I have a question for both Jorma and Stephen. Nokia and Microsoft have been some sort of enemies for some years. What sort of possibilities for cooperation and closer relationship will this appointment open up?
So it's a good question. First of all, the premise of your question that the companies have been enemies of one another is I'd like to change that perception. Because in fact, just over a year ago, Microsoft and Nokia entered into a strategic relationship. I was the person on the Microsoft side that was leading that effort to take the Microsoft productivity experience across the wealth of the Symbian ecosystem. So there's tremendous partnership. But of course, at the same time, as is the case amongst any large technology companies, there are areas of deep partnership, as well as areas where you would expect some competition. And that is true between the two companies today. I think it's safe to say that the lines of communication between the two companies are even more open than they were before. And perhaps it will help with better understanding of each other's goals and objectives. And there may be opportunities in the future for the companies to do more work together.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Underwrite 100%. I'm quite convinced that also in the future, Nokia and Microsoft will have areas where they will be competing, but there'll be probably increasingly areas where we can find common ground to work with. So it is this co-opetition, as some people call that, will be both competitors as well as working in cooperation in many other areas.
Microphone number 1.
Eva Palojärvi, Channel 4 TV News. Stephen, I would like to know what else you know about Finland besides our love to ice hockey. And the other question is that looks like that you have been changing your jobs pretty frequently. What kind of a leader you are? Thank you.
Thank you. So what else do I know about Finland? I've actually spent quite a bit of time studying the history of the country to understand, some of what leads to the culture and the way in which people, think and operate within the country. So I've learned a great deal about the national history. I've had an opportunity to travel, even in the last couple of months, to various areas within Finland with Jorma. He's been very gracious as a host, both to myself and my wife, to help explore parts of Finland, which we've enjoyed a great deal, including just spending a weekend, in downtown Helsinki and getting a sense for the people and so forth. I've also learned that there's a particular black candy that someone gave me that I really don't like. I don't know the name of it, but anyways, thank you. I tried, I experimented, and I've moved on. As it relates to my career, perhaps the way to think of my career is there have been some moments of tremendous opportunity presented to me based on the success that I've had in my career. Indeed, when I went to Microsoft, it was the opportunity to have the impact of affecting the lives of hundreds of millions of people through the Microsoft products. That was a remarkable opportunity for me. And it was at a time where Microsoft itself was facing the need for some significant change. And in the nearly 3 years that I was there, I led a significant portion of Microsoft through a portion of that change, this advent of cloud-based computing, to the point now where Microsoft is the undisputed leader in that space, a fundamental change for the organization, and therefore a reason that Microsoft will continue to prosper and do very well. I have nothing but the highest admiration for what Microsoft's future holds for it. And yet at the same time, I face the prospect indeed of sitting down with Mr. Ballmer, the CEO of Microsoft, and saying I have an opportunity. And that opportunity has been presented to me by Nokia. And his response was a combination of disappointment, for sure, combined with the respect for Nokia as one of the world's leading technology companies, and if someone that Steve Ballmer has helped to nurture and develop in his career has that opportunity, he said, I will help you in doing so. And so it was a remarkably difficult and yet professional moment. And I have nothing but thanks and gratitude to the Microsoft team for helping through this at this time.
Microphone number 4, please.
Pitkänen from Taloussanot. Will you be moving to Finland?
Yes, I'll be establishing a residence here in Helsinki very quickly.
Microphone number 1.
Hi, Jenni Tamminen from Uusi-Suomi. Nokia has had some difficulties in North America. Will there be some sort of emphasis on North America or some change in strategy?
So certainly North America is a critically important market. If you think about the history of mobile handsets, in many respects, there was a time where Asia and then Europe all led North America. And now at this time, the balance has shifted a little bit as we see, the work of various companies and strategies in North America develop. And so you see tremendous strength from Nokia in many parts of the world, and yet a huge opportunity in North America. So I think, as has been the strategy in the past for Nokia, it will continue to be so in the future, that North America is a critically important market. And indeed, it'll be an area of emphasis for me as well, working with various people that I know in North America to help the team there to both evolve the strategy and to deliver great experiences for the customers in that market.
Microphone number 3.
Aira Vehaskari, AFP. Stephen, it seems that Nokia is playing a bit of catch-up in the smartphone market. What do you see that Nokia has to do now to stop bleeding to, say, iPhone and Google Android?
Well, I think Nokia has many great assets in the smartphone arena, both in terms of products that you've seen, products that you have not yet seen, as well as recognizing, and this is the important thing, it's not only about smartphones, the device, it's about the entire experience. It's about the platform, it's about applications, it's about the services. And so a key part of any strategy in this space must encompass the delivery of all of those capabilities so that the end user experience in that smartphone environment is complete, end to end, as an entirety. So that'll be a key focus going forward, is to ensure that we're delivering that end-to-end experience that is inclusive not only of what you think of as a device, but all of the supporting elements, infrastructure, developer ecosystem, and everything that goes along with it.
Good. We have time for 2 more questions. Microphone number 2.
Terror from Finnish computer magazine. How do you see Nokia's software platforms today? Is there some work to be done, or do you believe that you will continue with the current kind of cooperation of Miglant, Symbian, and then the Nokia's kind of the basic operating system for normal feature phones? So how do you see this software platform, how they are today?
Yeah, the way I think about that is that there is a range of experiences that need to be delivered as you consider the entire global market, from some of the simplest, lowest cost handsets up to the most advanced capabilities in smartphones. And that range requires a range of capability. And while it's too early to say what combination of what platform is used for what environment, it's clear that we have to consider that entire range. And if you make a decision to just do one thing or another at any particular time, you may end up sub-optimizing across the entire range. So it'll be very important for me to understand in the weeks and months ahead how best to move forward across those platforms, where to emphasize which one, how else we should integrate with the services and everything else that goes around it. So it's an area very early to consider, but it's certainly an area that is a critical part of our overall strategy to be clear on and to ensure that our developers in particular understand what that strategy is.
And our final question to microphone number 3, please.
From Ilta-Sanomat. I would ask Jorma, how did Mr. Kallasvuo take this change? Was it hard for him, or was this his idea from the beginning, this change?
The change we're undergoing was the board initiative, and as I said earlier, Ole-Pekka has handled this very professionally, I might say very gallantly, all the way through.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
At this point, we'll say goodbye to our webcast audience, and I'll ask the 2 gentlemen just to stand in front of the screen for a brief photo call.
Stephen, does